So there you go, start coming down a little lower. And then we'll tighten up our pressure, and then it will start getting smoother and smoother. There you go, see how it's starting to get smoother?
Yeah, definitely.
Go down towards the blue line. That's it, then we'll up our pressure. We don't want to take these things out too quickly and start causing tremor on the panel. That's it, nice. And work back up to the top again. Okay. So now I'm going to up your pressure, so then you'll actually be smoothing and blending a little bit more. Are you ready?
Ready, ready.
Okay, so now it's adding more pressure, that should be just enough. See if you can go as far to the end of the panel as possible. I know it's difficult, you're learning, but you're doing good. We'll take care of the ends a little bit later. Just get that section nice. So you're going to go from that top edge, don't run over the edge, and you come back down to your blue line. Notice how it's starting to get more and more ironed out, setting the panel. And we're just going slow because you're learning. Speed will come later. I'd rather you get it correct and not go over your margin lines than rush through it and start stabbing at it. You're doing real well with a nice flow and go. And whenever you can get to the very end of your panel a little bit more, that will really help you. I know there's a lot going on. Wheeling in a curve is very different than wheeling in a straight line. Very nice. All right, so now you're going to go back up to that top edge again. So we're just blending and smoothing. We're not really shaping at the moment. We're just seeing how much shape we've got in the panel from the mallet. I'm going to tighten it up just a hair more. Okay, so now you're going to run from that top edge back down to your blue line again. Go all the way down to the blue line, run across that blue line, because you've got a few walnuts down on that line, so you have to iron those out. There you go.
There we go.
See,
feel
yeah,
that.
now you're squishing them. Get those things out of there. As you go towards the end, on your end of the panel, go a little deeper. You've got a couple up in there. See those? Yeah, run those out. That's right. A little bit further towards the end. There you go.
Yeah, that's the stuff.
That's it. So that's what you're aiming to do each time, but it will come with practice. Cool. So let's just take your panel out. Compared to what it was when it went in, it was all lumpy bumpy. You can see now that we've opened up the shape. The edge has come up a bit because the curvature is not as much, because the shape of the wheel is not crowned enough for this number 4 radius because of the little flat top. But you can feel it, and it's relatively smooth compared to what it was before it went in.
Oh yeah.
So now we're going to see where is our shaping. Notice how our panel has changed shape down here. So what we want to do is we want to change it back again. So we use our belt line, and then we just pop that back down and keep that in position. See where that is. And it's like if it's not staying very well, we're just going to give it a little bend. So we just use our belt line again, and we just give the panel just a hair bend and say, hey, we need you back up over so that we've got a hollow there. We want the hollow more than we do the crown because it's easier to work the hollow out. So now, because there's less tension on it, notice how that panel is relatively flat through there. That's how the buck is. We don't want a panel that starts looking like this. If you've got a panel like this, you've got a lot of work ahead of you to get that flat.
Yeah.
So we control the shaping, and we've controlled the English wheeling, and we're keeping it in a nice flat plane. Let's see how we fit up on our buck. So now, when we pop that on there, you can say night and day difference from where you were. No, we're not there yet. We've got a lot of shaping. but I had you shape the outside. So now, I didn't want you to get it completely smooth because we'd probably do a little bit more shaping in there. But now, we're going to shape this lower section in here, working shape coming down progressively because it needs a little less shape here than it did up in here. But you can see where that's starting to come in now, and it's going to end up looking like this other panel by the time we finish. And so the whole goal will be that you'll be shaping all the way down to this section to bring a little curvature, but keeping this relatively flat still, so that the panel starts coming in and starts becoming a click fit. This one's still in process, but you can see how close that one is compared to where this one is. So you can see now what we need to do is the shape through here now, see? See how there's still the marble in effect, there's still a few little walnuts here and there. That was another student's panel that he didn't want to finish, but
Yeah.
he got a pretty good job of keeping that nice and flat and that plane. You see that? Nice and flat. Controlled panel. Okay.